Picture this. It's September 26th, 1983. The world is a powder keg, and the Cold War is at its absolute peak. Deep inside a secret Soviet bunker just outside Moscow, alarms are screaming. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov stares at a flashing red screen. His blood runs cold. The early warning system, the pride of Soviet technology, is reporting the unthinkable. 5 American nuclear missiles are in the air, heading straight for Moscow. The room is electric with panic. His subordinates are shouting, demanding a response. Protocol is crystal clear. He must immediately report the attack up the chain of command, which would trigger an all-out retaliatory nuclear launch. The fate of the entire planet, literally billions of lives, rests on his next move. The phone to his superiors is in his hand. Every second that ticks by is a second closer to annihilation. This is the moment the world has dreaded for decades. But Petrov hesitates. Something feels off. 5 missiles. It doesn't make sense. If the Americans were to launch a first strike, wouldn't they launch hundreds, even thousands of missiles to overwhelm Soviet defenses? Why just 5? It felt more like a probe than an all-out war. His training, his orders, his screaming colleagues, everything told him to report the attack. But his gut, his human intuition, was telling him a different story. He looks at the frantic faces around him. He sees the raw fear. He knows that if he makes the call, there's no going back. The launch sequence would be initiated, and within minutes, the Northern Hemisphere would be engulfed in a nuclear firestorm. It would be the end of civilization as we know it. The weight of that decision is unimaginable. Is this a real attack, or is it a catastrophic error? Trust the multi-billion ruble computer system, or trust a nagging feeling in the pit of his stomach? In a move of incredible courage, Petrov makes his choice. He picks up the phone, but instead of reporting an incoming nuclear strike, he reports a system malfunction. He lies to his superiors. The tension in the bunker is suffocating. Minutes feel like hours. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the sky to fall, for the ground to shake, for the world to end. They stare at the radar, expecting the telltale signs of impact. But the minutes tick by, and nothing happens. No explosions, no fireballs over Moscow. Just silence. It turns out Petrov's hunch was right. The missiles were a bizarre glitch, caused by a rare alignment of sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds that tricked the satellite sensors. It was a 1 in a million false alarm. If he had followed protocol, if he had listened to the machine instead of his own humanity, the world would have been plunged into nuclear winter. For his actions, Stanislav Petrov wasn't celebrated as a hero. He wasn't given a medal. In fact, his superiors, embarrassed by the system's failure and his breach of protocol, quietly reprimanded him and reassigned him to a less sensitive desk job. He retired a few years later in obscurity. For decades, the world had no idea how close it came to destruction that night, or the name of the man who single-handedly prevented it. His story only came to light years later. He wasn't a general or a politician, just an officer with a calm head and a profound sense of responsibility, who, in the most critical moment in human history, chose to trust his gut. He is the man who saved the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden histories. We'll see you in the next one.